when she realized that, and this was when Bill Clinton was elected, that the president was actually younger than her, okay? And that's for us who are growing older, which I guess we all are. When your head of your country is actually younger than you are, you start to feel like, wow, I have some years. And where she went with that in her head, and why I want to teach the song to you, she said, I realized that we're no longer in an era where we can wait for a big leader to be elected. That we're in a new era in humanity where leadership is something that needs to become a part of all of us. And so she created a song called We Are the Ones. Now something I want you to know about creativity and the creative process. If you take a creative risk, it wouldn't be creative if there wasn't a chance of failure. If you know you're going to succeed, then so every time you take a creative risk, you don't know how it's going to turn out. Okay, so that's what we're doing right now. We don't know how this is going to be. So the first part goes, let's see, I think I'll do that over here. Do the screw down. Okay, we are the ones, okay, we are the ones, we are the ones, we've been says, we are the Thank you. Thank you very much for that little social experiment.
So now what I want you to do as quickly as possible, get into groups of 7 or 8, no more than 8. 7 or 8. So, gosh, I thought, business school, people are good with numbers. I thought getting groups of 7 or 8 shouldn't be a big deal. Oh well, anyway. So, we're entering a new phase of the workshop where we're going to start to play, to wake up the imagination, and we're going to play with theater and theater improv. And we're going to exemplify a principle I call turning up the heat slowly, okay? That means that we're going to start with activities that are a lower level of creative risk. Still fun, but a lower level of creative risk, and then we'll build from there. But what I want to tell you is that, and I had some wonderful conversations with people during the break about how they would apply some of these activities in their work settings. So here's how this goes. A person will start, and they'll do an activity, a motion that's pretty identifiable. What does it look like I'm doing? Brushing my teeth. And so the person on my left will say my name, they'll say Charlie, and then they'll ask me, Charlie, what are you doing?
Charlie, what are you doing?
I am flying a kite. So what you do is, you're doing one motion, but you have to think on the spot of something completely different. And then that person starts flying a kite. And when you fly the kite, I want you to believe in that kite, really, like you're actually really doing it.
Parul, what are you doing?
I'm painting my nails.
Okay, and then you stop what you're doing, and you start painting your nails. So the other person has to do whatever you say, okay?
Avika, what are you doing?
I'm playing with my dog.
Adarsh, what are you doing? I'm riding a bicycle. Akash, what are you doing? I'm belly dancing.
We need to
Okay. So before we move on to the next activity, I just want to collect a few comments. What was that like? What was your experience like doing that?
Liberating.
Liberating. And what was liberating about it for you? Hold on, one person at a time. Go ahead.
It was, you could think out of the box. You could be whatever you want to be.
Great. And you found that liberating?
Yes.
Excellent. Finding new ideas. Did anybody find it challenging to find new ideas? Yeah. It was kind of a stretch, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. You had to really think. Okay, so great. Now what I want you to do is I'm going to ask you to form new groups, and I want you to form groups of 7. And I mean it, people. Groups. I want you to form groups of 7, and hold on, before you do, I want you to really mix it up. So if you find yourself just hanging out with your friends, say goodbye and mix it up with a new group of people. Really mix it up. New groups, groups of 7. So here's what happens. You're going to be handed a piece of clay, and you're going to make something out of that and use it, okay? And then what will happen is you'll pass it to the next person in your group, and they will use it, but then they're going to reshape it into something else, pass it on. Okay, so let me show you what this looks like. First of all, does everybody have clay? Okay. You want to demonstrate this with me? Okay, great. So I'll start. So here's my clay. Let's see. Okay, so the idea, great. So the idea is to not guess out loud, is then to pass your object over, and they use it. No, so you use it as I gave it to you, use the iPod. Great, and then just very briefly, and then you take it off and you shape something else. Yeah, nice. Okay, so then you hand it to the next person, and they take it and they use it. Great, and then you shape it into something else. Got the picture? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so whoever has the clay starts. Whoever has the clay starts the process. Do this activity in total silence. We try to do this in total silence. Good. Okay. Has everyone gone all the way around? Great. Okay. So let me ask you a question. What did you notice about the group that time? What did you notice about the group you were in? Yes.
It was more of what we are, like gender-based. She gave me a pile, I gave him a glass full of whiskey. He passed it.
That's interesting. So you noticed some gender patterns. That's very interesting. Huh? What else did you notice about the group?
The concentration level of
Concentration, observe.
Hold on.
the concentration level of a person.
The concentration level of a person. What about the group? Were they constant?
Or the whole of the group.
The group was totally concentrated, weren't they? Yeah, I love that activity for that reason. The group gets totally quiet. They're totally focused on what people are doing. Yes. Now, this will be interesting. Yeah, so that everybody can see. So you're not standing in front of everybody. So it looks like if maybe a couple people go over here, there'll be more space. We're just working with a okay, so come on, yeah, great, spread it out. Good. So this is a game. So I'll try to give the instructions between two circles, but I'll have to demonstrate in either circle. So when I'm down here, just watch, and then. So what I'm going to do is this is a simple activity called pass the ball. Okay, and this is where we are really asked to fully engage our imagination to create a mental reality, okay? So I'm going to hand the ball to you, and so the ball right now is this size, okay? And so I just want you to hold it and see it and feel that ball, okay? And let me give you the ball over here. So if you would hold it and just see that ball, feel that ball in your hand, okay? And the first thing I want you to do is just pass the ball around the circle. So when the ball comes to you, take the ball and pass it to the next person, okay? So now I want everybody just to pass the ball and listen to the sound of my voice, okay? Now that ball is becoming very, very heavy. The ball is very heavy. So I want you to watch your back. I don't want you to hurt your back. The ball is really heavy. How would you respond if the ball was really heavy? Yeah, good. Careful. So pass that heavy ball. Good. Doing good. It's really heavy, gang. So how would you respond if the ball was really heavy? Good. Good. Okay, so now the ball, oops, sorry. The ball is really light. The ball is light as a feather. So keep passing the ball around, but this time it's very light. Yeah, there you go. See, that's what I'm talking about. See that light ball. Great. And now the ball's quality is going to change. Right now it's very light. Good. Excellent. Really see it. Good. And now the ball is really hot. It's really hot. It's very hot. Good. And now, whoo, don't burn yourself. And now the ball is just fluffy like a rabbit. It's the cozy, fluffy little ball. Nice furry, a nice furry, fluffy ball. Keep passing the ball. There we go. It's a nice, furry, fluffy ball. Great. Good. Good. And now the ball is really stinky. I don't know what happened to that ball, but it stinks. But you got to pass it on. And now the ball is really slippery. It's like oily, greasy, slippery. Okay. So now, very good. Excellent. And so now the ball is about 1 1.5 inches round. It's very small. It's about that round, okay? Great. It's about this round. And it's made out of the most exquisite Belgian chocolate. And that always happens. Okay, clap for yourselves. So, what we're starting to get into now is real improvisation. You know, I asked you to imagine that ball, really treat it like it was a real thing. How many of you felt like you were able to do that? Raise your hand. You could see it and feel it. You did really well with that. Very good. And so we're just starting to move gently into the area of improv. Those first games that we've played are games just to start to wake up the imagination, okay? And so we're gonna go a little deeper into the pond. And before we do, I just want to share with you the 3 rules of improv. And the reason I'm sharing those with you is because I want you to start considering what it would be like to create workplaces, you know, to be in schools that lived by these kinds of rules, okay? And the first rule of improv is say yes. What does say yes mean? Anybody know?
Try new things, say yes to everything which makes you feel awkward or...
Yeah. It's like say yes to everything. Yeah. So say yes, it means accept what's given. When you're in an improvisation situation, if someone, you know, said, okay, the ball is really heavy, and you pass it on, oh, and you hand it to somebody and they go like, what happens to the energy? It kind of goes down, doesn't it? So improv works when you receive what's been given, okay, and you believe in it, okay? So you work with what is in front, what has been given, what's been created, okay, and you build from there. The next rule of improv is your first thought is your, anybody know what goes here? Best. Okay, let's talk about this. The second rule of improvisation is your first thought is your best thought. Now, we could think about that on the left side of our brain and says, well, you know, what percentage of times is our first thought really the best thought? But that's not the point. The point is, what would it be like if you worked in an environment where that was the energy? Your first thought is your best thought, okay? Because what happens is oftentimes we second guess ourselves, and oftentimes what comes out afterwards kind of like lacks energy, and sometimes it blocks the energy if we're just always sort of in our right brain, in our left brain, okay? Which is more the linear, okay? So the idea in improv is to go with the energy, go with your impulse, see where that leads you, okay? And that's why we say your first thought is your best thought, okay? And that's not, you know, we don't want to get into judging it, well, is it really? It's like, what would life be like if you trusted yourself that much? That's the question, okay? What would life be like in this workplace if we trusted each other that much to feel like our first thought was our best thought? What would happen is you generate a lot of ideas, okay? And people will be much freer about sharing their ideas. Make sense? Get what I'm saying? Okay. And here's the third one. Yes?
That can make you impulsive thinker and you can take wrong decisions in life and work.
Right. Did everyone hear your comment? Can you say it louder?
I said that that can make you impulsive person and you can make wrong decisions at workplace and your personal life. have quite done that.
What do we think about that?
I think it's got to, what you're saying needs to be seen in the right context. I think it's very relevant in allowing people to express their ideas. Once you stop your natural expression of ideas, and so I think it's in that context. That's how I'm listening to it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I mean. But I totally get what you're saying.
Trust your gut level. If you're more in tune with yourself, then maybe your first thought will be the right thought. If you're not in tune, you're very disturbed and things like that, then your first thought may not be the right thought. But if you're at peace with yourself, if you're in tune with yourself more, then your first thought.
That's another really important dimension, when you trust your gut.
The perfect, say, the ideal and the perfect and the kind of God, you cannot be that.
You know yourself better. This is better.
See, my belief is that some of the best and most energetic ideas never make it onto the table because we're always second-guessing ourselves. Okay? It doesn't mean that we don't also, at some point in the process, practice discernment. Do you see what I mean? But what I'm concerned about is the climate that we create when we're working on something with people. And I'm saying that there's a lot of value in trying to balance things out. Right now, I think as a world society, we're way too much in the left brain, linear modality. And what's called for oftentimes are, creative leaps.